รายการต่อไปนี้เป็นรายการทั่วไปสามารถรับชมได้ทุกวัย
สนับสนุนโดย Isuzu Mu-X Blue Power เอกสิทธิ์แห่งความสุขที่อยู่รอบตัว World Camera กันเองทุกเรื่องกล้องและการถ่ายภาพ บัตรเครดิต UOB มื้อนี้ใช่เลย
รายการไทม์ไลน์สุดที่ชัยหยุ่นวันนี้จะพาคุณผู้ชมไปพูดคุยกับคุณสตีฟและคุณคิดยังทายาทของเควเนตยังอดีตทูตสหรัฐประจำประเทศไทยย้อนกลับไปเล่าถึงความผูกพันของทั้งสองท่านที่มีกับประเทศไทยสมัยสงครามเย็นที่ยังร้อนแรงทั่วภูมิภาคซึ่งทุกวันนี้ทั้งสองท่านยังถือว่าเมืองไทยเป็นบ้านแห่งที่สอง
ทั้งชีวิตนี้ได้ทุ่มเทกับศิลปะวัฒนธรรมไทยเพราะว่าคุณแม่เป็นภรรยาของท่านเอกอัครราชทูตเคนเนตยังอยู่ปีไหนครับอยู่เมืองไทย
1961 1963 3 ปี
แต่แค่3
ส
ปี
มัยจอมพลสฤษดิ์
จอมพลสฤษดิ์นะจอมพลสฤษดิ์เลยเนี่ยนะเป็นผู้นำที่ต้องเป็นเผด็จการทหารสุดๆแต่ว่าท่านทูตเคนเนตยังเนี่ยก็จำเป็นจะต้องบริหารประสานกับเผด็จการอย่างนั้นประสบการณ์ตอนนั้นท่าน2 ท่านอายุเท่าไหร่
โอ้ยบอกไหมคุณพี่บอกไหม
6 ปี 7 ปี 8 ปี
กล้าพูดไม่กล้าพูด
ผม12 17 18
17 18แล้วอ๋อนี่ห่างกันขนาดนั้นเลยเหรอ
Well, President Kennedy, the world premiere was going to be here in Bangkok. Marlon Brando came here, and their majesties were invited to attend.
Yes.
And their majesties agreed to go to the premiere of this movie, Hollywood movie. President Kennedy in Washington heard about this and was very unhappy because he didn't like the book, Ugly American.
Right.
He said, no, I'm trying to help Thailand. I'm trying to help Vietnam.
Yes.
You know, and I don't like to be criticized. So he sent instructions to our father. You have to go see the king and tell the king, don't go. Because I, President Kennedy, don't want him to honor this movie.
Wow.
So my dad he told us about this.
He was the American ambassador.
American ambassador. He has to do what the president says, right? But inside, but what can he do? So he calls, he gets an appointment, he goes to see His Majesty, maybe in Chitlada, I don't remember where, and he respectfully makes his arguments. Your Majesty, my president feels this, the Americans feel that, this can be misinterpreted. And then at the end, His Majesty just smiled and said, Ken, you have the king and I. And my dad, what could he say?
What could he say? You have the king and I.
They had a map of Indochina, which didn't show any mountains. It just had flat colors. Vietnam was one color, Thailand was one color, Pama was another culture. So they thought it was flat from Bangkok to Rangoon, Yangon. So they were going to take a bike. And they got up to like Pitsanulok and then they went over the dock and they're like mountains.
Oh my God.
So they have to go up the mountains because it's too far to go back. So Dad told me this because we went to the village. So one day they're up and they have no water. Mami Nam Doma. They're exhausted. They have their bike, they have their packs, and they think they're going to die. And they go to, they hit a Thai village up on the border with Pama. And the headman, like the Kamnan, Pupasat Anget Maidai, but he sees these two Farang and he sees they're in trouble, so he gives them coconut. He cuts the coconut. He gives them coconut to drink, and they get their energy back. So I think that had left an impression in my dad of gratitude towards the Thai people, who were friendly people.
And what are you doing in Thailand these days?
I'm teaching at Sasin Business School on corporate social responsibility, Setiket Popian, with the Thai approach and the sustainable development of the United Nations. So I just come for 3 weeks.
So you're still keeping very close touch with Thailand?
Not so close anymore.
How often do you come to teach?
Maybe once a year.
Once a year.
Yeah, I don't come that often. So
And what do you do back in the States?
I run a nonprofit on corporate social responsibility. So I wrote a book called Moral Capitalism.
Yeah.
How do we have business and capitalism which thinks good things about the customers, the employees, the environment, the communities? And
How can capitalism be more human?
Exactly. And the answer is yes, it can. But you have to have the right don't meความคิด you have to have the right kind of mind.
ใช่ And เศรษฐกิจพอเพียง is the right
It's a good
answer.
idea. It's I don't want to say it's the right idea. It's a very good idea. And in fact, I was just on Saturday, I was meeting a new friend here, Anil. I don't know.
Anil, of course.
Anil, who's Nepalese. And he had this insight, which I think is powerful. The word dharma in Buddhism. The root of dharma is in Sanskrit is dur. Dur means to uphold, to sustain. The dharma is to allow us to thrive, to sustain, to maintain, to grow in life. That is what sustainable development of the UN is. Therefore, the dharma idea, which is majesty developed into Sedikit Popian, can be a universal guidance for a better capitalism. Moderation, having the right kind of don't go too fast. Don't oppress other people. Don't take advantages of your workers, of your customers. And so there's a possibility that the Thais, in their Theravada Buddhism, may have an approach, a good approach of balance, which can go to other countries. What the difficulty is, as you and I have talked, in politics these days, where is the balance?
There's no balance. It's either this way or that way. And you have to choose between this or that, which is not a good solution.
And the history of many countries and many cultures and many families is when you choose between two things like this, the choice makes for more trouble. If you have to choose only between two in a difficult situation, this is what is going on in our country, the United States, today in the presidential election. You have to choose between Trump and Hillary Clinton. And many Americans look at this and they look at this and they say, why do we have to choose?
Right.
Where is the middle way? We have no middle way.
No middle way at the moment.
And that's not good for a country.
Well, everyone who is familiar with Steve Young would think about Ban Chiang. What happened? You have to tell the story again because
Didn't I tell you this before?
Of course. But I need people who just watch this program tonight would have to say, "Hey, this guy I heard vaguely about Steve Young and Ban Chiang."
บ้านเชียงเป็นหมู่บ้านในเขตตำบลบ้านเชียงอำเภอหนองหานจังหวัดอุดรธานีบรรพบุรุษของชาวบ้านเชียงปัจจุบันเป็นชาวพวนจากเมืองเชียงขวางสาธารณรัฐประชาธิปไตยประชาชนลาวที่อพยพมาตั้งถิ่นฐานอยู่ที่นี่เมื่อราวปีพุทธศักราช 2360 โดยสร้างหมู่บ้านขึ้นบนเนินดินรูปยาวรีตามแนวตะวันออกถึงตะวันตกกลางเนินสูงกว่าพื้นที่นารอบๆราว 8 เมตรบนเนินดินทั้งหมดกว่าครึ่งตารางกิโลเมตรนี้นอกจากจะเป็นที่ตั้งของหมู่บ้านในปัจจุบันแล้วลึกลงไปใต้ผืนแผ่นดินเหล่านี้ยังปรากฏร่องรอยหลักฐานการอยู่อาศัยของคนสมัยก่อนประวัติศาสตร์เมื่อหลายพันปีก่อนบ้านเชียงอาจเป็นหมู่บ้านทั่วไปในภาคอีสานที่มีวิถีชีวิตและความเป็นอยู่ที่สงบเรียบง่ายแต่ด้วยปรากฏการณ์ความบังเอิญทำให้หมู่บ้านแห่งนี้เป็นที่รู้จักของคนทั่วโลกในฐานะมรดกโลกการเปิดเผยอดีตของบ้านเชียงเริ่มต้นขึ้นเมื่อปีพุทธศักราช 2509 โดยนักศึกษาชาวอเมริกันได้เก็บตัวอย่างเศษภาชนะดินเผาที่มีอยู่ทั่วหมู่บ้านไปมอบให้กับผู้เชี่ยวชาญด้านโบราณคดีสมัยการประวัติศาสตร์กรมศิลปากรต่อมาในปีพุทธศักราช 2510 กองโบราณคดีกรมศิลปากรจึงได้มีการขุดค้นทางโบราณคดีขึ้นเป็นครั้งแรกและได้พบหลักฐานทางโบราณคดีที่บ้านเชียงเป็นครั้งแรก
I saw an advertisement that said there'll be a lecture at Siam Society.
Yeah.
So my first thought, professor, So my first thought, well, my mother would like me to hear the lecture. So I went to hear the lecture. I didn't by Tio someplace else, right?
Good boy.
I went to hear the lecture in this room. And it was American professor Bill Solheim who was talking about an ancient bronze culture maybe in the Isan.
Isan, Thailand.
Isan, Thailand.
And then something happened.
And then something happened. So I'm walking down a path and the monsoon rains had washed off the topsoil about like a meter. And there was a tree here. And the roots went this way, but the rains had washed, so the roots were sticking out. So I'm walking down the path with Kun Siripong, who was a Bedkrua, he was a teacher there, and he was helping me. I was staying in his house. So I'm walking and I'm talking to Siripong looking like this. I didn't see the tree roots. Boom, right down on my face in the dirt.
สนับสนุนโดยยูโรเค้กอร่อยทุกที่ทุกเวลาพรีเมียมเอาท์เล็ตแฟคทอรี่เอาท์เล็ตของแบรนด์เนมระดับพรีเมียมโอลี่คัมรี่ยากที่ใครจะตามทัน
Well, everyone who is familiar with Steve Young would think about Ban Chiang.What happened? You have to tell the story again because...
Didn't I tell you this before?
Of course. But I need people who just watch this program tonight would have to say, hey, this guy, I heard vaguely about Steve Young and Ban Chiang.
Well, I have to say, Kun Sudachai, the two things are my mother, whom we're remembering tonight, her picture is there, and this room in the Siam Society are part of the story of how I discovered Ban Chiang.
Oh, yeah.
Because my mother, as Kit was saying, when we were little, she would take us to the museums. She would take us to lectures at the Siam Society.
Yeah.
So I knew about Sukhothai, Sisach Nalai, Lopburi, Angkor, the Utong, the traditions, the arts, with the different Buddha styles, the different. So just growing up under my mother's influence. So.In 1966, when I was here doing research for the American Embassy, USAM, the aid mission, I saw an advertisement. It said there'll be a lecture at Siam Society.
Yeah.
So my first thought, professor.
Yeah.
So my first thought, well, my mother would like me to hear the lecture. So I went to hear the lecture. I didn't by Tio someplace else, right?
Good boy.
I went to hear the lecture in this room. And it was American professor Bill Solheim who was talking about an ancient bronze culture maybe in the Isan.Isan,
Thailand.
Isan, Thailand.
Maybe.
He did, but he had the idea. He had the suggestion. So a month later, I was in the village of Ban Chiang.
What were you doing there?
I was interviewing the people.
Why? What for? Are you doing the research?
I was doing research for Harvard College for my thesis. And that's a more complicated, the issue I was looking at was politics. And the issue I was looking at is the people of the Isan.Do they think they are Thai?
Yeah.
Or do they think they're something else? Because if they think they're Thai, they will identify with Bangkok and they will oppose the communists.
Yeah.
But if they think they are Lao or something else, then the government in Bangkok is going to have difficulty because there's distance.
Yeah.
So I went around just asking everybody in the village. I went from house to house.Just to have a conversation. It's the anthropology technique.
Right.
I didn't talk about politics. I just say, how are you? And where were you born? Who's your wife? And what
your field work.
Yeah, your field work. And what do you think about this? And you see the newspaper. In Ban Chiang in those days, no newspapers, no electricity.
Just only radio maybe.
Not even radio, because no electricity. You have to have batteries. Not many people had batteries. And the signal from Bangkok was very weak. The strongest signal was Radio Beijing.Radio
Beijing and maybe Radio CPT, Communist Party.
No, they didn't have one. No, they didn't have it. This is 66. They didn't really have one. But you could hear Radio Beijing. And it was well done.
Shortwave.
They had shortwave and they had Thai music and nice Thai voices and
And then something happened.
So I'm walking down a path and the monsoon rains had washed off the topsoil, about like a meter, and there was a tree here, and the roots went this way, but the rains had washed, so the roots were sticking out. So I'm walking down the path with Kun Siripong, who was Ben Kru, he was a teacher there, and he was helping me. I was staying in his house. So I'm walking and I'm talking to Siripong, looking like this. I didn't see the tree roots. Boom, right down on my face in the dirt.
Your face?
My face. And, I fall right down. I caught myself like this. And then underneath my eyes was a round circle in the dirt. Just a round filled with dirt. The same color as the dirt. It was 1. It was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All these round circles. So Siripong was helping me up. I was like this. And I said, Siripong, he said, old pots.
Old pots.
He said, old pots. I said to him, yeah, of course, old pots. Then, how old?
You wanted to know how old?
That's the big question, right? Not old pots. Are they 50 years? Are they 100 years? Are they 5? Are they Deveravati?
But the villagers must have seen them every day.
Yes, but they didn't know what they were.
No.
And the other thing is they thought they were pea.
Pea?
They didn't want to get involved. Dead people. Right? They didn't want to do that. So anyway, as I was getting up, I saw over there about 20 yards. First of all, I noticed that the pots went from here to there. That's a lot of pots. I said, this is unusual. You don't have that many. This is some kind of burial.
They were broken pieces?
No, they were vertically standing in the. They were like
one
burials.
Good piece.
One piece with the circle at the top. So I looked over there, and there were 2 boys, maybe Hokpi, Jetpi, and they were playing a game. They would break off pieces of the pot, and then they would throw them. And one boy would throw his piece, the other boy would throw his. If the piece landed, we used to play it with marbles or nickels. Right.
Toy gong, they call it toy gong.
Toy gong.
So that gave me an idea. Break off a piece. So I broke off about 3 pieces. They were about this big, they were shards. And then I remembered Bill Solheim, the lecture here. I said, could it be? Solheim thinks there could be an old Bronze Age culture in the Isan. Do you suppose that these pots might go back to the Bronze Age? So I looked at them with a new interest. And you could see several things. First of all, on the outside there was no glaze, nothing shiny. So that tells me these pots were made before people invented glaze. Mold. Secondly, if you took the edge of the shard and you looked at it, you could see little pieces of rice and rice husks, which had not been carbonized. Low firing temperature. Low firing temperature, primitive technology. Primitive technology means old age. The third thing was on one of the pieces, there was a charcoal burn mark on the outside. So I'm thinking again, primitive technology. They put these pots into a small kiln with pieces of wood. And then as the wood burned down, something fell over and hit the pot. So these were not sophisticated potters. So I've got 3 pieces of evidence that these are really old. But the fourth thing was the designs. Like I'm wearing my Banchian Thai today. These designs, nobody had ever, I'd never seen them anywhere in Thailand. Because my mom had taken us to all the museums. If we go to Khon Kaen, we go see the Khon Kaen Museum. So I see all these things, never seen these designs before. So I took some of the pots and I brought them back to Bangkok. And some I gave to Princess Pantip Chumpot because I was staying there because the families were friends. Every time I come to Bangkok, I'd stay at Kit stayed at Bangkok. And then I took the other group and I gave to Kun Chin Yudi at the museum. And then later, Chin Yudi,
who was at that time Director General.
Yes. And then later on, they gave them to the scholars, and the scholars said these are like 3,000 years old. But I didn't know that. So I just did this. I remember when I gave them to Kun Chin, I went down to the museum and he was working with his students. He had 2 tables outside the first building there, and he had old pots on them. And he was teaching his students, and I came up and he kind of looked at me. He was a pretty serious man, Kun Chin. And I said, Koto Kap Kun Chin, Pom Ben Sativ Yam Ben Luk Tud, Kanet Yang, Patricia Young. Oh, okay, Jamdai. I said, Koto Kap, I was just back from Ban Chiang and I have these pots, and what do you think? And he sort of looked at them and he said, oh, they're like Jomon pottery in Japan. I said, whoa, Jomon pottery is very old.
Right.
So I felt pretty good. So I left them there, and then I went home, and I went into anthropology and politics and became a lawyer. And
then you forgot all about it.
And then it became famous. And then it became, and we just had the 50-year anniversary. That was 50 years ago.
50 years,
in
exactly.
1966. This month,
But
August.
we told you later about, hey, this big discovery is called Ban Chiang.
Yeah.
How long after that?
Oh, it was slow. Oh, there's several other parts of the story. So Princess Chumpat, well, she also sensed these are special. So she wanted to have a contact. I was leaving to go back to Harvard. She wanted a contact up in Ban Chiang. So there was a teacher from Ban Chiang who was teaching in Thonburi. And I had some contact. So I invited him and his family to come to Suanpakad. And then Princess Chumpat had him meet Kun Wing, who was her number one. And then Wing went up to Ban Chiang and brought back a lot of pots. And I think he brought back some bronze. So Princess Pantip had a collection. And then people began to pay attention. And then the fine arts department went up. But then I never heard this story. Something was going on very slow.
Yeah.
So then somebody, maybe Mum Pantip, I don't know, went to His Majesty and said, there's something special in Ban Chiang, like 1972 maybe. So their Majesties went up to Ban Chiang, and after that, everybody knew about Ban Chiang.
Right.
But the problem was, after their Majesties went up there, the villagers knew they had special pots. So everybody was digging up the pots underneath their houses.
That's right.
And 40,000 pots came out of there.
I know.
But not for the archaeologists. Oh, there's another funny story. It's a good Thai story.
Yeah.
A day or so after I tripped and fell, I wanted to very quietly ask around. So back up behind the spot, there was a house up here, and a very nice lady was living there. So I went back and just chit-chatting and say, have you ever seen anything old around here? Yeah. She said, yes. Last year we dug a new privy. The best privy in Banjul. Would you want to see it? Yeah. So it went down 3 meters. And at the bottom we found bones.
Bones.
We had skulls.
Wow.
And I got all excited. Wow. Because if you have bones, if you have a skull, you can take it back to the scientists. Yeah. And they can study it. So I sort of said, oh, geez, that's interesting. Do you have those skulls in your kitchen by any chance?
You pretended not to be too interested.
Exactly.
Otherwise.
I said, and then she said, oh no, the poor dears. I felt so sorry for them. I cremated them right away so they could be reincarnated. I just said, of course. If you're a good Thai, right, you would do this. But science, I just remember that. Anyway.
เคยได้ยินเรื่องมากี่ครั้ง
อุ้ยหลายครั้งมาแล้ว
ทุกครั้งที่เราก็ยังตื่นเต้นยังสนุกนะสังเกตไหม
แล้วก็มีรายละเอียดมากขึ้น
ผมได้ยินเรื่องนี้หลายครั้งแล้วนะแต่ทุกครั้งที่สตีฟเล่าเนี่ยจะมีสีสันจะมีความน่าตื่นเต้นตลอดเลยเหมือนกับเพิ่งไปเจอครั้งแรกไปเจอบ้านเชียงครั้งแรกเลย
การขุดค้นทางโบราณคดีครั้งสำคัญเกิดขึ้นบริเวณวัดโพศรีในและบริเวณบ้านในพจน์มนตรีพิทักษ์ในระหว่างปีพุทธศักราช 2517 ถึงพุทธศักราช 2518 กรมศิลปากรและมหาวิทยาลัยเพนซิลเวเนียสหรัฐอเมริกาได้ร่วมกันขุดค้นที่บ้านเชียงอย่างละเอียดโดยมีผู้เชี่ยวชาญจากหลายสาขามาร่วมกันทำการศึกษาการขุดค้นครั้งนี้ได้พบหลักฐานทางโบราณคดีประเภทที่สำคัญจำนวนมากผลการวิเคราะห์แสดงให้เห็นว่าวัฒนธรรมบ้านเชียงเริ่มต้นขึ้นเมื่อราว 5,000 ปีก่อนและมีความต่อเนื่องยาวนานมาจนถึง 1,800 ปีที่แล้วกลุ่มคนที่เคยอาศัยอยู่บนเนินดินบ้านเชียงเป็นกลุ่มชนเกษตรกรรมที่มีการปลูกข้าวและเลี้ยงสัตว์มีการล่าสัตว์และจับสัตว์น้ำมาเป็นอาหารมีเทคโนโลยีในการทำภาชนะดินเผารู้จักการทำเครื่องมือเครื่องใช้ด้วยโลหะและทำเครื่องประดับตกแต่งร่างกายคนกลุ่มนี้มีประเพณีความเชื่อเกี่ยวกับพิธีกรรมฝังศพหลุมศพหลายหลุมศพพบภาชนะดินเผาและสิ่งของเครื่องใช้เครื่องประดับฝังร่วมกับศพภาชนะดินเผาบ้านเชียงมีรูปแบบเด่นเฉพาะแต่ละสมัยแตกต่างกันไปโดยแบ่งเป็น3สมัยคือสมัยต้นสมัยกลางและสมัยปลาย และโบราณคดีบ้านเชียงเป็นแหล่งทรัพย์สินทางวัฒนธรรมที่สำคัญของไทยโบราณวัตถุและหลักฐานทางโบราณคดีประเภทต่างๆที่พบจากแหล่งโบราณคดีแห่งนี้เป็นหลักฐานยืนยันถึงสังคมวัฒนธรรมสมัยก่อนประวัติศาสตร์ที่มีการพัฒนาทั้งด้านเศรษฐกิจวิทยาการและศิลปะอย่างแท้จริงวัฒนธรรมบ้านเชียงมีประวัติความเป็นมายาวนานกว่า 5,000 ปีจึงนับเป็นมรดกทางวัฒนธรรมที่มีความสำคัญแห่งหนึ่งของโลกจนได้รับการยอมรับจากองค์การยูเนสโกให้ขึ้นบัญชีแหล่งวัฒนธรรมบ้านเชียงไว้เป็นแห่งหนึ่งในบรรดามรดกโลกเมื่อปีพุทธศักราช 2535
ช่วงหน้า
Thai American relations
Sad. But there's one big difference, Chai, that I've been thinking about between when we were here in the 1960s and today, for the Americans and for the Farang. In those days, very few Farang. Today, in Bangkok, in Thailand, everywhere, how many Farangs are there?
Or just
Thousands of Farang.
Chinese and Korean,
I'm talking about
Japanese.
Farang, yeah, but Farang, basically. In Bangkok, you can be a Farang in Bangkok. You can live here for months and never really meet a Thai. You go to Farang restaurants, you see Farang movies, all your friends are Farang. And the other thing is how many Thais speak English today and have Western education. So when they meet you, it's like you're meeting basically another American. There is no reality where many Farang really understand the Thai.
สนับสนุนโดย
เลือก Mitsubishi Pajero Sport ใหม่
ตกลงชีวิตของคุณพ่อคุณแม่กับประเทศไทยกับชีวิตของลูก
ค่ะ
มีหลานยัง
มี
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 ค่ะ
ลูกทั้
มี
งหมด
ลูกชาย
มีลูกมีหลานด้วย
ทั้งหมดเนี่ยคุณพ่อแม่มีหลานกี่คน
อุ้ยทั้ง
พี่น้อง
หมด
สี่ใช่ไหม
4 คน 3 คนมีลูกประมาณ
6 คนล้าน
หลาน 6 คน
หกคน
หลานทั้งหมด6 คนหลานนี่เกี่ยวอะไรกับเมืองไทยไหม
ยัง
ไม่มายังไม่มาจากเมืองไทย
Miles has been here เป็นเด็ก
ยังเด็กๆอยู่
ลูกชาย
ลูกยังเด็กมาก
ใช่เกิดที่อเมริกาแต่โตที่นี่ค่ะโตที่กรุงเทพ
ฉะนั้นความเป็นอเมริกันกับความเป็นไทยวันนี้เปลี่ยนไปยังไงบ้าง
อุ้ยทำยก
ความสัมพันธ์อเมริกันกับไทย ช่วงหลังนี้มีการเมืองเข้ามายุ่งมีต่างๆมันก็ทำให้คนไทยบางคนไม่ชอบคนอเมริกันคนการเมืองเกี่ยวกับเรื่องสีเรื่องอะไรต่างๆก็ทำให้คนไทยที่ไม่ชอบทูตอเมริกันพูดหรือทำอย่างนั้นอย่างนี้ซึ่งบางทีมันก็เป็นความเข้าใจผิดแต่ว่า วันนี้คิดยังไงกับ อเมริกัน
มีเวทีหลายอย่างเลยหลายสถานที่ใช่ไหมก็มีคุณตัวต่อตัวก็มันเหมือนเดิม
ก็เหมือนเดิม
ไม่มี
เป็นเพื่อนกัน
ปัญหา
ก็เป็นเพื่อนกัน
เป็นเพื่อนกัน แล้วก็มีอีกชนิดหนึ่งที่โดยที่คนอ่านหนังสือพิมพ์ แล้วก็ดูการเมืองแล้วก็เขาทะเลาะกันหรือลงอะไรที่ Facebook หรือก็อย่างนี้คือมันไม่จริงจังก็เป็นอะไรการสิ่งที่ไม่มีความหมายลึกซึ้งค่ะใช่ไหมตัวต่อตัวก็ลึกซึ้งเราพูดโดยตรง
อย่างนี้ลึกซึ้งกว่า
รู้สึก
กว่า
อย่างนี้
การเมืองมันผิวเผินมีคำว่าชอบกับ
โฆ
ไม่
ษ
ชอบ
ณาเป็นประชาสัมพันธ์มันไม่เกี่ยว
โฆษณาชวนเชื่อ
โฆษณาชวนเชื่อ ใช่แล้วค่ะ
Steve
There's one
Thai American relations
sad but there's one big difference Chai, that I've been thinking about between when we were here in the 1960s and today for the Americans and for the Farang. In those days, very few Farang. When you were here, you knew you were in Thailand. Everywhere you went, Thai people, they spoke Thai. You knew you were in somebody else's country and that they were different and that it was up to you to extend yourself. Today, in Bangkok, in Thailand, everywhere, how many Farangs are there?
Or just
Thousands of Farangs.
Chinese and Korean,
I'm talking about
Japanese.
Farang, but Farang, basically. In Bangkok, You can be a Farang in Bangkok. You can live here
Yeah.
for months and never really meet a Thai. You go to Farang restaurants, you see Farang movies, all your friends are Farang. And the other thing is, how many Thais speak English today
Yeah.
and have Western education?
Yeah.
So when they meet you, it's like you're meeting basically another American. There is no reality where many Farang really understand the Thai. It's like these are these two ships separate in the same pond. What that means is when the Farang in the embassy and the journalists and the tourists and the Farang who live here, when they think about Thai politics, the red and the yellow, they think in American terms. They don't think in Thai terms. And if you go to Americans and you say, oh, democracy, election, they say, yes, that's what we are. If you talk about Grengjai, if you talk about Barami, if you talk about Buddhism, a Farang will say,
What's this?
What's this?
Yeah, it doesn't.
So there are too many barriers for the Farang to really
So
understand.
what has happened to Buddhism in Thailand? Why don't we use Buddhism to promote national reconciliation?
Yes, but I'm speaking more than I know, but I would like to share with you in this interview my only audience with His Majesty, my only private audience, which is in 1984. I have to be respectful, but His Majesty was talking to me for 1 hour about his worry in 1984 that if too much money comes into Buddhism, if you can buy bun, what's going to happen to the sila, the moral quality of Thailand? His Majesty saw the problem way before it got big. So if you talk about Buddhism in Thailand for reconciliation, which monk do you want to go to? The one who has the Rolls Royce?
Even monks are split.
Do you want the one with the Rolls Royce or the ones with something else? Where is the moral center? So but I think
what is the solution?
To Thailand?
Yeah.
There's another factor. I looked at the results of the referendum, and something struck me. There are different cultures in Thailand which are not happy with each other. You take all the Changwat, which voted yes, 60-80%. What do you have? You have the old kingdom of Siam, from Sukhothai down the river to the southeast, down to the Pattaya. That's one kind of culture. North of Sukhothai, you have significant no votes. What's the north of Thailand? It's the old Lana. Different dialect, different tradition. They were under Pama for a long time. The other big area which voted no was what the Isan, north of the Korat. Those are Lao. How can the Thai, the Siamese Thai here express feelings of partnership and respect for the Lana and the Lao Isan?
And the South.
Something, and in the South you've got the Muslims in the far South. It's more difficult. But I'm beginning to think there are ethnic cultural reasons here. It's not because of elections, not politics. Well, politics is on the surface, always. Underneath the surface is economics and culture. I think here's a lot of cultural things. And then I read in the Bangkok Post that the arrests of these people for the bombing are connected to the Ang Yi. That's triads. Triads come from a different cultural tradition. There are other cultural traditions here. So I've been thinking a non-political kind of reconciliation. Something which goes to how do I respect you and how do you respect me? It's not the Democrat Party or the Puthai Party or Kun Pai Boon's new party. It's something else. It's who are we as Thai?
Yeah. So that long integration has not taken place.
I'm beginning to think it's taken place on one level, but not all the way down. The other thing I know that some Thai citizens are not comfortable with the Barami Grengjai culture of the old Siam. They just don't, they're like Farang. Farang are not comfortable with this culture.
So they're westernized, more
westernized, and also maybe some of the Chinese immigrants, maybe, who have a different kind of idea about politics. Their politics is not the Barami, the Grengjai. The politics is what can I do for you, and what can you do for me. how do you in a Thailand may be more complex
Than we
we
think.
think.
Yeah. Oh, but maybe
But-
kid has the solution.
No.
Music,
You-
culture.
Yeah.
Well, no, that could be. Why
Yeah.
not? Why not?
Culture might be the thing that bridge the gap.
ไม่ทราบ
For
นะ
example,
ไม่ทราบ
ไม่ทราบ
แต่ว่าคิดว่า
No,
คนไทย
I think-
ถ้าใช้วัฒนธรรมใช้
ใช้ละ
ด
คน
ตรี
ใช้ดนตรี
in the Isan you have the molam.
หมอล
Do something with that.
ำได้ไหม
Pak Nua, there are other traditions. My friend Prapan, the artist,
ใช่
he writes poetry in Lana. Why don't people in Bangkok, the elite, do something about the Lana tradition or something?
คือเมื่อวานฉันนั่งรถแล้วก็ช่างแท็กซี่เขามาจากอุดรแล้วก็เขาอยากได้กลองเขาอยากจะตีกลองเพราะว่าเขากลองค่ะกลองสากลเพราะว่าเขามีวงเล่นลำซิ่งใช่ไหมแล้วก็เขาบอกว่าทำไมรัฐบาลไม่สนับสนุนเด็กที่อุดรจะได้เข้าเล่นดนตรีของวัฒนธรรมของเขาเองไม่มีในโรงเรียนเด็กไม่มีเครื่องดนตรีสงสารแล้วก็เขาเปิดให้เราฟังลูกชายของเขาดีมากพลสวรรค์เขาเล่นดีมากอะแต่ไม่มีเครื่องแล้วก็บอกว่าเด็กกรุงเทพเด็กเชียงใหม่เด็กโคราชมีแต่ที่อุดรแล้วก็ที่หมู่บ้านต่างๆ
นี่คือช่องว่างที่มันเกิดขึ้น
ใช่ก็แล้วก็
ทั้ง
เขา
ที่
บอกว่า
ไม่ได้แพงอะไรมากมาย
ใช่แล้วก็ประโยคที่เขาว่าเรื่องอย่างนี้ค่ะแล้วก็เขาบอกว่า there is no democracy เขาบอกว่าไม่มี democracy ที่อุดรไม่มีแล้ว
ไม่มี democracy
แล้วก็ฉันเข้าใจว่าเขาใช้คำ democracy ประชาธิปไตยแต่ว่าความจริงเขาพูดถึงวัฒนธรรม แล้วก็ความที่เป็นไปได้ความสัมพันธ์ระหว่างคนจากกรุงเทพแล้วก็คนที่
ประชาธิปไตยความหมาย
ที่
ข
มั
อน งเขา
มัน
คือ
เสีย
วัฒนธรรม
เสียไป
ไม่ใช่การเมือง
Right.
Right.
So that
Chaturday is
tells your story.
what I want to get,
Yeah,
not the process.
No.
Yeah, that is important. The other factor, I think there are two other factors which we've talked about. One is decentralization. Kukrit was trying to do this a long time
แต่
ago.
ตำบลฟัน
Tambon Fund, local elections, everything. The second thing is the police.
police reform
Police reform.
ครับ
And those things can make a big difference to bringing people together because there's more trust.
So very good thank you
คุณสุ
for
ทธิ
this
ชัยขอบคุณ
conversation
ค่ะ
ขอบคุณมาก
ขอบคุณมาก
ฐา
ขอบ
นะ
คุณ
ที่
มาก
เป็นคนอเมริกันที่รักเมืองไทยเรามาคุยกันถึงเรื่องคุณแม่คุณพ่อชีวิตของทั้งสองท่านกับประเทศไทยและความเป็นห่วงเป็นใยของเราต่อประเทศไทยในอนาคตด้วยขอบพระคุณมากครับ
ขอบคุณมากค่ะคุณสุทธิ
ขอบ
ชั
คุณ
ย
ครับ
ค่ะ